I'm Seamless, and today is Monday, which means it's time for a new live stream. I'm actually going to do live streams now on Mondays and Wednesdays for now. There are actually going to be more streams on more days, but a lot of the other streams that I'm going to do require my website, which is under construction to be completed. Once that's done, I'm going to bring back the track reviews, the live mixes, and sound design requests. All these guys are going to come back, and those are going to go on all the other days. But Mondays and Wednesdays are going to be tracks from scratch. So that's what's happening today at 2 p.m. EDT, which is what time it is right now. Which a lot of people are going to be upset about my choice of time, and that's always going to be the case. There is no time of day I can pick where more people will be happy than not. So that's why I'm just kind of picking out what's working for me, and I'm kind of back around on doing like being awake in the mornings. So this means that doing 2 p.m. is pretty okay for me. That's what's up. Now, as for today, what I want to do today is going to be interesting. I'm going to do a track from scratch. I'm going to stick to some pretty simple stuff, but I have a particular goal. Today's goal is that I want to make something that I can play with my bass. This guy. This is my industrial radio MIDI bass. You might have actually seen some videos recently of me playing this. And those were tests and interesting little concepts of ideas of what I could do with that. So I want to make a song that I could actually perform with the bass. This means certain things. What it primarily means is that when I make sounds, I need to be able to play them and control them live. There are a lot of options I have in terms of how I could do that, but it does mean certain limitations. Certain things like I want to limit the amount of parameters I'm moving at once, or I want to control them in a way that it could all be controlled from a single source. So like a single expression controller that might move 3 or 4 things at once, but not independently in a bunch of different ways. I want to reduce the number of overall like sampled content that I'm playing, so that like I can trigger it like as a synth kind of thing. So I kind of want to stick to that. Sky Music just subscribed. Yay! Thank you, Sky Music. I'm going to update my button number. So you might see this number up the top here. Because I'm restarting the streams today, I'm going to explain what that means. I'm going to do drives, sub-drives, which is what that's for. And the drive is, for right now, is that once I reach 30 subscribers, I have more than 30 right now, but this is just the drive for the moment. The next track from scratch will be a hardstyle track. And once I'm done with that, I'll come up with some other equally hilarious genre for me to be doing. And then that'll be the one after that. So that's what's up with that. Okay, future funk, past funk, 3 hours in the future funk. I'm looking at the chat, people say funny things. When will be very viewer track reviews? Okay, I take it upon you, the chat members who were here when I just explained this, to explain to people what I said when I said it. And later I'll update the page to actually have the information in there, because it's kind of disorganized right now, and I understand that, and I apologize. So yes. Subscribe to 100%, 110% for Seamless Hardstyle. Also, because I love you. Aw, I love you too. All right, let's do a track. Let's do some things. So I was thinking, lots of people are talking about lots of funk and hardstyle or common sound kind of stuff. I'm not totally sure that I'm gonna do that, but I am going to be doing a 110 track just because I feel like it'll be kind of fun to play live. That kind of speed. I don't know if I'm gonna do like Moomba-ish stuff or if I'm gonna do actual like. Oh, actually, no, I am gonna do a kind of a breaky, funky track. Because one of the beauties of the bass is that the whole point of it is that it's a real bass. It has real strings, real pickups, and outputs actual bass, which means I can switch seamlessly between synthetic sounds triggering and actual bass. That means I can do real slap guitar. I'm really bad at slap guitar, but I'll figure it out for this song because it's just too cool not to do that. I'm not going to make drums with a MIDI bass because, my God, that'd be hard. So I don't know if I want to do another funk fight style kind of thing, but actually I think I kind of do. I had this progression in my head for a long time, and I want to see if I can get it out. So patching it up, patching my shit. Simulant, I recognize you. What's up, Mr. Simulant? He subscribed. So now I'm going to update the thing. I really got to... There are actually like automatic plugins whose purpose is to update numbers and stuff like this, but I didn't install any of them, so that means I'm doing it manually. Yeah. 5 more to go until I do hardstyle. I basically also like my plan, because right before I stopped really doing a lot of streaming, what I have been doing is that I my tracks from scratch, even if I just started one, even if I didn't finish it, the next one was actually a new track from scratch. And I still kind of believe in the value of that, but for these times around, I'm actually just gonna stick at it until I actually finish it. So that's gonna be that's what's up. Oh, I have velocity enabled. I don't want that. Velocity sensitivity is a cool thing when you're trying to be performance-y, but if I'm just designing sounds, I don't really want to be performance-y. All right, so now I think that's that's what it was. That's what that. All right. So now, oh man, I actually could think of a lot of really cool shit. So it's be like, oh man, is that a song? I really feel like that's a song. I mean, I'm sure it is. It'd be kind of hard for me to come up with something like actually cool. Music too loud? It's a funny thing about when you're designing sounds is that like pure basic sounding stuff is actually way louder than any kind of other thing. Because if I'm playing just a normal saw wave, but the second I make it like a super saw, it's suddenly less. It's like literally not as loud. And suddenly it becomes more comfortable to hear at higher volumes. But if it is just a regular saw wave, it cuts through a bit harder. So it's harder to kind of get that going on. I think G is pretty good. Well, let's see. Let's think about this. I could do A. See, now I have to like consider this in like the realm of like when I'm playing in a tuning. Right now, the bass is just E standard. I haven't fucked with that, so I'm still just E standard. But the way that I do the bass is that I make it so that the low E is actually too low. It's like down here, like that's the E. And the reason for that is because if that were the lowest note I was capable of playing, I couldn't play like, those guys. So then I want to have that note be the lowest note I'm capable of playing on the bass, and then I could play like up here. But I'm like my root note is on the higher strings, so that's a lot of fun. And if I'm gonna do that, I guess I could do E. Let's see what I guess the idea is I kind of want to slap. Well, I'm not gonna slap though because it'll be a synth. Ooh. Bow. This progression is justice. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to E. Oh, but G is okay. Where is G? G's not on any. I had to play that pretty high. But that's alright, I guess. Well, I'll just write it in G. I can always transpose it later. It's like, wow, that's a lot faster than I thought it was. So now it's kind of like just having a big hit at the bottom end. That's the synth. And then I could like play bass on the higher notes. See, this is going to involve a lot of like, let me show you my foot controller that I've been using. This is the FCB 1010. pretty sure they still sell this. It's I guess so these guys are what I use to control parameters on the bass. If you looked at the videos where I played the bass and I was like modulating stuff, this is the one I was using. And this is basically, it's just a controller. It comes out, I can just add, control like an X parameter or whatever, and that's fine. These buttons, by default, what they're for are for program switches. So like if I click this, and then it's like the first patch, and then over here is the next patch. And what that controls in FL is like this selection here, which will choose which thing I'm playing. There's a lot of problems with that, mostly relating to how the MIDI like Omni like triggering is handled in FL. But this is actually close. This is actually exactly the same process that I use when I play my other bass, with the keyboards in my band Krakatoa. These guys on the bottom are, I say at the bottom because you see there's also over here. These are page switchers. There are 10 pages of these buttons and these pedals. So while there are 2 pedals and 10 buttons, there are actually 100 different signals coming out of these 10 buttons and 20 different expression controllers. So if I went up a page, it's actually just playing according to FL. I'm actually playing an entirely different foot controller. The FCB is the biggest bitch in the universe to program. There's actually somebody, not Behringer, because it's a Behringer controller. Somebody else actually made a program for you to edit it and then upload to SysX without having to do it with the actual controller, because the controller's programming is just awful. But I have set up so that the first page of the 10 buttons are a program change, and then the first 2 pages, and then the 8 pages after that all actually put out notes. And this is so that I can control triggers that can trigger individual sounds and stuff like that. I don't really want to do that with the bass, with this bass. I primarily want to stick to doing just program change stuff. So what I'm talking about doing is having a like an actual synth trigger on each note. So I'm playing a synth, and then I have to step on one of the program changes or a parameter to get it to switch around so that I'm playing the real bass again, the actual bass signal, and I'm processing somewhere else. There are a number of ways I can think to do this. One of the ways that I've done in the past is that instead of triggering patches up here, I am playing all of the patches at once, and then I just trigger an individual volume automation being on. So if I had, and this creates even more confusion, because if I had 10 different patches, for example, on all the 10 different buttons, what that would mean is that button 1 doesn't just turn up and on and off button 1. It turns on and off button 1, and then it turns off buttons 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I have to individually map that for every single one of these. And then 2 means turn 2 on, and then 1, and then 3 through 10 off, and that whole thing until all of them eventually are a thing. And I mean, I really only have to do that once, for something that I play reliably live, like my Krakatoa stuff, because I never have to change it again. Once I have it set up and it works, I don't have to mess with it. And I actually haven't messed with the synth and trigger patch setup that I have in Krakatoa in a very long time, because it's a bit much. Yeah. For a time being, though, I'm not going to worry about setting up that kind of triggering stuff. I'm just gonna make I'm gonna make this first. I'm trying to think of the rhythm here. Oh boy, I'm in thirds. Oh, if I want to get real special, I could do this. Oh boy. Oh. That actually makes it does work better doing it like that, because I get longer notes. I don't want to go to major. If I want to get real special, I could do that. It does kind of sound like Funk Fight already. You know, if you remember when I was doing Funk Fight, I had never done anything like that ever previously. So it's like I don't have a huge amount of experience doing like funky stuff. It is a different progression. I know that much. That's just weird. Maybe these guys want to be on the actual beat. It's supposed to. I need to have the beat behind this. Let's get some scratch drums going. I say scratch and watch this end up being what I actually do. Is just in the song. I always do that. I'm always like, I'm just gonna do a placeholder, and then I get used to whatever the placeholder is, and then that just ends up being what's in the song. Yeah. Wow, 142 people. That's a bit much. I'll break out Superior Jumper at some point. Sure. I mean, it's stuck in my head already. I mean, it's been stuck in my head. I've had this thing in my head for kind of a while. Austin was talking to me about using volume envelopes. I really don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I know what he's talking about, but I'll have to do experiments at some point just to figure it out. All right, I know somebody in the chat knows where I got these samples, so please, everyone is always asking me where I got them, and I keep telling people, and I suppose that's good because people need to know, but. Sure. It's gonna be kind of hard to write because it uses beats that are not represented on the actual pattern here. Although I could make it do that, can't I? It's I very rarely ever mess with this. That's what I wanted. Yeah. Okay. So I've essentially changed the snap inside this, but I kind of screwed with everything else, didn't it? Because now the lengths are different. They're really different. Okay, I don't think I wanted to do that. Maybe I'll make it 3. It's kind of related. Oh, whatever. This is does not do it like that. I'll just write it manually. So it's do. Yeah. So it's da and then da, right like that. I guess this will actually be a snare here, not a kick. See, that's not what I wanted though. I need the snap-ons. So like, yes, yeah. There's easier ways of doing this. I'm just not doing it. Oh, that was cool. If I wanted to get real smart, I would change the cut on this. Actually, what I can do is engage the envelope, and this means that it'll actually only be on for the amount of time that the note is held. So now, with that in mind, yeah, so this note needs to be there, but then let's do the disco thing. Well, that got weird. That's kind of neat. And now there's a variation on this, and I already know what I want. It can't be that loud. People complain. That's not even a little as loud as my own voice right now. It's a saw wave, by the way. People in the chat were talking about it. One day I'll figure out a way to like cleanly present the chat. I mean, I kind of did it once for one of the mixes, but it got weird. But I just need to do more research. I'm going to do so much research into making streams function. Believe you me. Interesting. That's something that, I mean, these higher notes, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to play all of them with just slap basing, but a lot of them are going to be. So this is me just sort of making this work. Sort of testing it. So I already made this in the patcher, but I'm going to clone anyway. So on the low notes. Now the question is, do I want to do this with Harmor or do I want to do it with FM? If I do it with Harmor, the method by which I will do so will be repeatable. In the sense, I'll just play the note and it'll still be the note. If I do it with FM, that will require control. Or I mean, I could also envelope a lot of stuff. I'm going to be enveloping a lot more stuff than I normally do. Let's try to do it with Harmor for a second. Blat, blat, blat. Like my bass. If I had a vocoder, I'd just do that. It's not fine. Actually, that's something else I can do. I could perform live with a vocoder. Although, that's a lot harder than it looks. Because you have to be like making continuous sounds for it to even be audible. So I'm not just like, it's not just like, I have to be like, like while I'm doing it. And it's like, it's hard. All right. Yeah, uniform, bunch of voices. Phaser? Or I'm thinking filter. Ooh, you know what? I am thinking filter. But I'm thinking resonance. This is a pretty nice trick I haven't done in a while. Well, that's loud. Okay. Resampling and vocoding a burp doesn't work nearly as well as you think it would. So just bamp. Close. I think I'm actually going to do a layer with this. Oh my god. Not with the sound, though. Why did they get louder? Oh, because this was turned down a lot. This is actually not even anywhere near bass. That's one of the reasons why this is silent sign the way it is. That sounds kind of awesome, though. I'm into it. Yeah, that being bass doesn't really work out, so I'll keep that being the where it is, and then this could be the actual bass. Let's bring it up a bit. Master is still down. Good. That means I can push this. I'm probably going to do a separate sub, so the bass compression is not going to be that important. Oh yeah, hold on. I want to remove ramping on both of these guys. Yeah, snap. Some of that squeaky business is a little... What if I went the other way with their... Yeah. Should probably have a bass beneath this even though I'm playing a higher note. Oh, but how the fuck would I do that? Shit. Oh, Playing it wise. Wow, so that's kind of awesome. I've never did anything like that before. Like, it's really not, I mean, probably because it's not that complicated. I like to complicate things. This is a known thing about me. So here's something I know is gonna be a problem. I am very not good at slap bass. It's hard. It's like really hard. Cause like, in case you don't know anything about slap bass, let's see, where is this point at? This camera. The way that works is that you whack stuff with your thumb. That part's easy. The hard part is the higher notes. You're pulling it. And like, I could do individually fine, but people are like, they like do like that kind of thing, and like, I can't do that. I can do that pretty well because it's just easy, but for example, what would this even be? This is a G, so E. That's right. Kind of like that. The big bop bop. Oh, fuck this way. Ah, fuck. I had to practice that a lot to nail that. Which is okay. Like, I mean, you don't get better at stuff by doing things you can already do. So, I'll just have to do some practicing. I'm just not going to do that on air because that'd be boring as shit. So plug the cable in, Seamless. I don't want to make a bass patch just yet. I'm pretty sure you could hear that okay. You could hear the slapping bullshit anyway through the mic. It was mostly just a visual demonstration anyway. Damn, I'm like really happy with it. With fucking that sound. Isn't this the first TFS in a while, or have you been back for a while? Whenever I hear anyone say TFS, I automatically think Team 4-Star, who are the people who created DBZ or British, which is the greatest thing in the universe if you haven't watched that yet. But yes, this is the first track from scratch I've done in a very long time. And I hope I'm not going to stop doing it. My schedule so far has been pretty alright, so I've been into it. So I don't know if I want to like start with this. This isn't the drop at all. This isn't even close to being the drop. This is basically just the intro. Like, it's not going to begin with that. Like, it'll kind of build up to that, and then it'll start playing this. And then this will be some. It'll be actually pretty easy. If I do get that down, then I'll I'll figure out some cool variations to play with the actual bass. Thank you, bass compression. And then it'll basically stop. There'll be a build up. I don't know if it'll be a big build up, but there'll be kind of a build up-y thing happening here-ish for a bit. So I do want to come up with some other sounds. Let's come up with a different drum beat first, because a lot of what I'm doing is being influenced by the drums. I love what I'm doing. It's pretty similar, but it's not reliant on the previous pattern to make work. So I'm probably going to keep using the main bass in the drop. I just won't it won't be the only one. Maybe I'll keep it on the kicks, so it'll be like. It'd be really hard to do that on a bass. Oh, we could do it like that and then kind of lean into it. Kind of pretending there's going to be progression. Yeah. Someone in the chat suggested I use vibrato, and that's actually a really good idea. I'll have to remember that. I may use it on that very sound, but I don't think I will, though, because that's something else. It's just an extra thing I need to control if I don't want it to be always what's up. Let's do a citrus sound. Although, one of the things that the bass can do is that it has a number of different kinds of output modes. The various different kinds of output modes in terms of like mono versus legato. And this is at the MIDI level. This isn't what the synths are doing. But the thing is that the synths have to be able to do that too. So the things like if I have it on mono, that means it'll re-trigger a new note every time I play a new note. But then if I'm holding a note and I hammer on a new note, that'll still be a new note trigger. But if I have it on mono legato mode, then when I hammer on a new note, it'll slide up that note. And that means that I can do literal slides, and it'll sound like I'm literally sliding, which is kind of a fun thing. Default. I forgot to remember my G. So sine wave, almost square wave. I wonder what that looks like in harmonics. Wow, that's cool. It's basically just crossfading between saw and square. Randomized phases. Make the sine wave a different pitch. The reason why we didn't make it, watch this. Watch this. It's a fun little moment here. Oops, I needed that. When you distort, I'm making a Reese, if that wasn't obvious. So right now, both of the waveforms are the same pitch, which means they're both oscillating at the same rate, and there's no competition, no phase cancellation at all. So if I change the pitch of the square saw, I'll get the recing effect, but it is audibly detuning. Like, it sounds like the pitch is changing quite radically. Now watch what happens when I change just the sine wave. It no longer sounds like the pitch is changing. The pitch is changing. And this is because what we understand to be the pitch is something that happens in the higher harmonics. Obviously, I'm changing the pitch of this guy, so the pitch is changing. And if it were just this guy, it would sound just what it sounds like. But because we have all this competition going on that is staying at one pitch, we're primarily hearing it staying at that one pitch. But how do I want to screw with this? Could also do something fun like. It's really not that loud. I really can't be. None of my leveling says that this is very loud, and I'm a little worried about what the sounds like on the other end. I'll have to look at the recording. Now, I could also do some fun things like control the, because now I'm FMing the sine wave by this ridiculous square wave saw hybrid, and they're both going out. Lots of inbreeding, we can say. And now I'm going to control the depth of it with an envelope, because I don't want to control this. What does it sound like coming up? That's fun. Let's get extra interesting and introduce some ring modulation into the mix. Well, that's fun. That's right, I forgot to. So I'm going to control the mod input of operator 2, which is being ring modulated by operator 3. And I'm going to decrease it over time. Maybe I can increase it over time. If I want to get real interesting, I can also change the pitch of the RM so that it changes over time. If I want to be in time with the current modulation, I can make it the same pitch as the sine wave. Actually, going to keep this on for the majority of it, and I'll bring it down a little bit. That's a fun sound. Just finish this track. Someone in the chat just said, Seamless, just finish the track already. Add drums and slap a nose one on the master. It's honestly not far from what I'm going to do. I do want this to be interesting, but I also kind of, like, remember, the purpose of this is I want to try and make something that I can play on the bass. So we're looking at burn. Let's actually use this same pattern for a second. That'd be really hard to do in the bass. Although, well, there are no slide notes in the bass world. I could literally slide, but fucking Citrus doesn't really have that legato control that I'm after. At least not the way it's actually funny because FL12 has a lot of innovations that will help me do this kind of stuff, but I have yet to understand how they work. So just doing that doesn't work out. Although you notice that it does sound kind of detuned, and we know why. We know why at this point. Just making a note. Have I ever composed a piano piece? Yes, I have, actually. It was a very fast one. If I wanted, okay. Actually, maybe I should progress like that. The beat. Somebody asked if I could, with the legato thing, can I sample a sound into Serum and then use that with the IR bass? And yeah, that is kind of an option, and that's something I thought of, is that because of Serum and because of the wavetable functionality, that does actually open up a lot of possibilities when it comes to modulation and control of modulation. So like instead of playing, like if I made a really cool bass, like resampled sound, instead of playing the resampled sound directly, I could actually just resample that, and then I can actually have more control over that with the bass. The problem with that is that I also haven't totally gotten a handle on Serum's own legato functions. It does have a legato function, I just haven't figured it out yet. I figured out Harmer's legato function, for example. Yeah. Cool. So, all right, it's been 50 minutes, actually longer than I wanted to do it, but this will be the end of part 1 of today's Track from Scratch. Part 2, it's already out on YouTube, because this is for YouTube people that I'm doing this part 2 business. Might be asking, why am I splitting into 2? Why not just have one giant hour-and-a-half video? Because I want more views and more money. So yes, go watch part 2. Now I'm going to wait for a second, because I'm going to make the cut